what is the fundamental requirement for you to earn a living? In this materialistic world, everything requires the means of money. To get money, you need a job. To secure a job, you need knowledge. Where do we get knowledge? This is where education plays a role as the main kickstart of our lives. 26-year-old Kenneth from Miri, Sarawak has been living alone in KL since 2006 when he took his computer science degree in University Tunku Abdul Rahman. He graduated in 2009 and landed on his first job in 2010. Up till date, he has been working in the same company for 3 years. Kenneth was offered to loan 40,000 ringgit from PTPTN to pay off his tuition fees of 30,000 ringgit and his daily expenses for 3 years. Well, the law of money resents everywhere. All loans will be debts, and debts must be paid off. With PTPTN, Kenneth has to repay his debts up till he turns 38 years old. That means 15 years of repayment. Best part is, the amount increases from time to time.
The first few years we need to pay 100. Then after that you will need to increase the repayment. And then up until the 10th year or the 15th year, you will need to pay up to 300 per month just to complete this repayment.
So basically, when you start working, your only income is your salary. For a person who lives alone like Kenneth, you have to pay for your food, rental, bills, insurance, car installments, and the extra burden, loans. Education in Malaysia has been evolving from time to time. Our government provides 11 years of free education to its citizens, 6 years of primary education and 5 years of secondary education. However, those who pursue studies on a tertiary level face a problem upon graduation.
Yeah, basically this generation, I believe majority of us here today, I see a lot of people, they have problems with savings. Some of them might even, just like me, unable to give money to their family. In the modern days, people call these generations as urban poor. Urban poor, whereby a generation they have income, a sustainable income, they can live on their own, but unable to seek breakthrough, like say owning a house or start up a family, or even buy the things they want or travel to places they want to go.
Thus, activists started the Human Rights Motion. In April 14, 2012, student activists gathered at Dataran Merdeka for a protest. The debate flared even more furiously with the viral video popularly known as Listen. Question is, should it be implemented?
Education is supposed to be a fundamental right. Every people have right to get free education. If you see in Malaysia, education become a business. Example, every year 12,000 students graduate from the nursing colleges in Malaysia like master skill. In market, we only need a vacancy for the 1,000 to 2,000 students. So where the balance 10,000 going to be? So because nowadays the education become a business, everybody can go and study if they have the money.
Free tertiary education is applicable, but it has to be focused on a particular segment. So if let's say we want to implement free education, I believe personally that it has to be targeted to the groups who are really in need of subsidy for them to pursue higher education. But it shouldn't be a blanket policy, where anybody can get free education. Then of course we will not have enough. And we all know that Malaysia is never fair because we are a capitalist system. So do you agree that free education should be given to two? One, a family can afford it, and one, a family who can't afford it. Yeah, so I think it has got to be implemented, but implemented selectively.
大专教育是不是能够免费呢？不是一个必切的，不是一个十分需要的这种情况啊。毕竟一个社会的资源是有限的，我们的社会资源应该用在最迫切、最需要的一个部分。好，那如果要提供所有的这个大学都是免费的话，我觉得这个在财政上是远远不足以应付的啊。那另外一个原因， 我觉得那马来西亚的这些大学生，他们会不会珍惜这个求学的这个机会啊，这个上大学的机会？
In the 70s and 80s, many students were given scholarships to further their studies. During Tun Dr. Mahathir's time, the neoliberal system was introduced, and thus privatization became a trend. When PTPTN was introduced in 1997, new private institutions began to boom. Since then, education became a business. In Australia, England, and the US, federal government's allocation for education institutions remains the same despite the increment in tuition fees. Therefore, students are forced to bear the extra charges by applying loans in order to cover for their education.
I think education cannot be fully privatized. Yeah, we gone through the privatization period basically because there are not enough public institutions. The government can't provide for it, so they took an easy way out by privatizing it. And by privatizing it, you create another problem. Some institutions are not really, private institutions are not just selling education. They're also selling lifestyle, consumerism. In reverse, I think the government should actually focus on public institutions. Put money, more money in public institutions, enhance the image because there is a problem over the couple of years with image of public institutions.
当然，我们必须考虑到这个私立大学商业化的问题，或者是说这个学费高昂的问题。那如果我觉得要解决这方面的问题的话，必须从这个大学本身这个组织啊，还有他们的这个法规啊去改变，包括说我们大学的这个私立大学的一个董事部的组成啊，是不是说更能够反映这个社会的倡议、家长的倡议啊，比如说。董事会必须应该委任更多德高望重、学有专长的这人士来主导这个大学，然后这些有社会感、社会责任感的这些专家学者呢，他们办学的方向就不会完全朝向这个商业化，而会朝向说比较学术化或专业化的这个路上发展。
There are a number of countries that implements free education. Take for instance, Finland, Libya, Norway, Turkey, Venezuela, and Cuba. Question is Malaysia ready?
We think Malaysia can provide free education because we have a lot of sources. From like example, we have from the petroleum 80 billion every year. The statistic showing that 80 billion we have profit from the petroleum oil palm, more than 80 billion. From the taxes, income from the taxes 40 to 50 billion. From the corruption and so on, we see our expenses in federal expenses itself per year is 200 billion. Statistics showing that we only need 5 to 6 billion to give free education from Tadika until university.
Before Dato Sri Najib's time, when we were running towards Vision 2020 to be a high-end developed country, Malaysian education budget was allocated around 20 to 22%. This is because good education is needed to create better workforces and better human resources.
You keep it to about 22 to 22% for education budget. You have to remember that if people are more successful, people can earn more money, but revenue for government can then be created through taxes. If people continue to remain earning 3,000 and below, meaning you're not at the taxable bracket, of course you're not going to generate any revenue for the government. So that's why it makes sense for government to actually push up the wage level so that more and more people can contribute to the taxes.
Yup, that is the societal rule now. We keep paying, we pay to learn, and when we start working, we pay taxes and our living expenses. The generation these days live by a system where we follow the urban poor cycle. Would free tertiary education actually lighten up the burden of the society? Or is the consequences of its implications outweighing the country's ability to do so? What say you?